The next map is going to be Terminus. And to keep, in fact, looking at this now, if Randy is to lose this game now, he is out of the tournament, but not out of the tournament in terms of playing in the qualifier for tomorrow. Every player we're seeing today has qualified now to play with the elite.
Yes,
the guys that were out drunk last night and partying.
Some of them, yes.
Apart from the Korean players who see him practicing over there, but they have qualified. This is all about seeding now. And obviously if you drop out first, you're probably going to be playing Stefano, which is probably not what you want.
Feed me more noobs, says Stefano. But yes, that's a bit of a scary thought, isn't it? And everyone is trying to avoid that, no doubt, suspecting perhaps that Stefano may be seeded #1. They don't know that for sure. But yeah, it's going to be the 16 players coming in from there. And then, of course, the big set of invitees, which are going into tomorrow, should be absolutely fantastic to watch. But for the moment, it's my pleasure to bring you Randy from Team Infused. He's in the red trunks playing Zerg to the west of the Terminus versus his opponent Gomas, who is in the blue trunks, also from Team Infused, playing Terran to the east.
And a nice big map here for Randy.
Yep.
And cross positions as well make it even better for him, because basically timing attacks are not as viable here, if viable even at all, simply because there are so many ways for Zerg to scout it. Overlord scouting is more difficult, of course, but just simply having units in the center of a map, controlling the Zelnaga towers, for example. And basically Gomas, to play against that, he has to take initiative on map control. So with that, he needs to be playing Reactor Hellion Expand. You can go Gasless Expand here, is pretty good as well, but to be honest, you have to get the Refineries Routine here. You need to get the Reactor Hellions out to actually hold the Zelnaga towers, prevent creep from being spread, and then maybe you could hit that 2-base timing attack if you were to go for it. But being such an easy third base to take, that might be an option for him to do.
Yeah, that's always interesting to see on Terminus, that we often say, oh, it's a big macro map, but we do sometimes see some very aggressive games, simply because of the tendency there to actually do that. But on this map, this particular version, there are actually rocks on the third, which do make taking that significantly more difficult, and there is no direct access to the third base.
Yeah.
So this is going to change the dynamic of the matchup somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it almost forces Randy to go to base Spire. You could take, you could get early lings out to go ahead and start taking the destructible debris. You could do the Ret style, where you build a macro hatch next to the destructible debris, and then kill it, and then build the actual third there as well.
Yeah.
But usually you see players go to base Spire, then use lings to kill it and expand and so on. We'll have to see what Randy does like to do. He is using a drone just to scout around his natural, make sure there is no bunker rush or anything, but there is that factory, there is a slot next to the factory ready for that reactor, so we can go ahead and switch up to start to take that map control.
Yep, and the gas is good enough right about now. There you go, and the swap around will be happening at that point. And as we said, while it is known as a macro map, the tendency for macro games to happen has actually almost forced some players to go down the route of, well, okay, if this guy's going to play a macro game, let's try and get aggressive early on, cripple that macro game, which is what makes the map such an interesting map and a good map in tournaments. As far as I'm concerned, it is fairly well balanced. Extractor now coming down for Randy on 26 supply, playing the gasless style, as is the tendency on this map, playing just a nice and macro orientated, not going to get aggressive at all. Gomas, on the other hand, will be doing just that with these Reactor Hellions right about now.
Yeah, we will be seeing that. I was actually interested to see if you wanted to throw down a second factory. Double Reactor Factory is really good here, because you can take the map control with Hellions to begin with, and you can prevent Overlords coming, because it is more difficult for Randy to scout cross position with Overlords. And then you can hit with double Hellions, especially if your opponent's going 2-base Spire. That's when it becomes a lot better compared to 3-base, double upgrades, lings and roaches. It becomes obviously more difficult to do so. And let's have a look here for Randy. Did take the gas relatively late. Is he going to get speed, or does he go straight for layer? That is a question. A lot of players have been skipping speed, realizing that, why do I need to get it this early on? Because I'm not going to be able to move out the map that early. But he does decide to do it anyway. And then we'll have to see, does he go straight into the layer next? And that'll probably be the basically going for the layer and into the Spire. Meanwhile, throwing the Evolution Chamber down on a regular timing as well, just in case of any Club Banshees or anything like previously seen.
Yeah, and a couple of Hellions now rolling out just to do some damage. There's 2 more to prevent the creep spread, or at least try to here. And he will really see the Creep Tumor to be able to kill that without too much of a problem. And there come the additional Hellions. The question is, can he get in? I like the placement of the Evolution Chamber here. I like the fact that there's partial wall off. Now, it's more than a partial wall off now. That's now complete. And there is no access route through the back here at all on this version.
Yeah, this single overload on the right-hand side of this map is actually identified that the second gas has not been taken. So he already knows no Code Banshees are coming. This has to be regular play or double reactor Hellion. So that's why he's still continuing to wall off, but he knows Banshees are not coming. They're not an option here whatsoever. So we actually see the second gas being taken now for Gomas, and Randy sees that also. So he can almost filter the builds down for Gomas just by seeing that second gas placement, and he knows what he's coming up against, which is pretty much a regular fast expand build with Hellions. And we do have a Roach Warren coming down as well, which actually, did that just get cancelled? Oh, no, it did finish, sorry.
Yeah, Roach Warren
he
is
built a
completely
second one, I think.
Yep.
He did build a second one and then cancelled
the infamous 2 Roach Warren play.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I have actually seen that. It goes for, it's a weird timing attack with Tunneling, Claws, Burrow, and Vial Reconstitution, but it's kind of rare and it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense in this particular matchup. Gomas continuing to deny the creep spread right there, and those Lings will eventually work their way through indestructible debris. They're trying hard, bless them.
But we're not seeing, though, I'm just saying the layer just started at 8:15, incredibly late layer, and he hasn't taken the gases. He's only on 2 gases, so what we're seeing with the double evolution chamber as well is very heavy Roach Ling play with double upgrades. But look at this push that's coming, which is basically a push against Spire play. The second evolution chamber is hidden from Gomas's vision, and now Randy knows it's coming. This is why these kind of pushes are not so good, because it's easy to defend against them on this map. So we have Lings, Roaches on the way out. He's going to be able to crush this. There is not stim here, remember as well, because it's such an early attack.
Yep, there are a couple of SCVs moving in, and of course they could deploy bunker and try and heal a siege tank. That there are only 2 siege tanks, which is not really the amount that you need to pretty much crush any wave that's coming at you. He'll be able to push the Spine Crawler back, and I'm glad that Randy was able to grab that. A follow-up comes in from Gomas to try and kill it. He could have actually sniped that Spine Crawler off. It didn't happen.
Oh, supply blocked at the worst time here for Randy. He's building 4 overlords at once.
Oh,
and he can't build the units. He wants to build 1,000,000 Roaches and Lings. Look, 1,000 minerals, but he can't. Oh, it's so bad for Randy, and he may actually lose this push, which he should have been able to clean up really easily.
Yeah, a very basic mistake. It is unfortunately now going to end up destroying Randy, who has lost his Roach Warren. I guess he shouldn't have cancelled that second Roach Warren by the looks of it. And down goes an Evolution Chamber as well, just to make matters even worse. Roaches are now coming out in significant enough numbers to break his way out of that, but he's taking tech losses. He's starting to take some economic damage here as well, and that's very, very concerning. Gomas could follow this up. He brings another tank up to the front in order to make that happen, and Randy does have a large roach count now, which is now taking fire from that, and needs to try and charge in and smash it. He knows that that's exactly what he needs to do in order to get out of this. The Marines trying to follow up. They don't have stim. There is a bunker up at the back, and still has 2 tanks. 10 kills and 17 kills on the tank at the bottom. Gomas should not have got into this position.
Yeah, it's literally mistakes from Randy. Missing lava injects, getting overlord capped, so he couldn't have the units to deal with this. GG call, and Randy is knocked out of the seeding for this IPL4 qualifier and finishes now top 6.